Hello everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog and welcome to this week's Pick 5. You may notice there's something different about me. Obviously I haven't shaved. I'm also in full dad mode, Karate Kid t-shirt. I'm in London with my daughter, which is amazing. I'm worried that my Instagram might make me look like a divorced dad because it's all about, daddy-daughter. Should I keep doing the accent? Yeah, I think I'm going to. But it's been a blast. It really is. And the accent, it's a thing. Last night, for example, we were out to dinner, which was lovely. And I said to the young chav, I said, excuse me, what are your specials tonight? And she looked at me and she said, why are you doing a fake British accent? Actually, no. First she said, are you American? And of course I said, no, I'm Canadian. And she said, oh, I'm sorry. And she winked and I winked and we had this kind of moment of like, is this, are we doing this, American, Canadian? Anyways, I won't go there. That last part sounded Australian. But then I said to her, I said, well, what made you think I'm doing a fake British accent? And she said, because you're doing a fake British accent. And I asked her to do a fake North American accent, and she said, do you want to hear the specials tonight? That's what they all do. Anyways, look, as I told you last week, I am taking a week off with my daughter, and it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. And today we're going to do Pick 5. We're going to do it on 5 neighbourhoods in London that are just like Toronto, except, 2 to 3 times as expensive. So it was a real grind to get here. 7-hour flight. My daughter, can we get a picture of her? Okay, I know I sprang for a pod. Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me, because what ended up happening is I was so glad I did, because she projectile vomited for 7 hours. My biggest fear was her, that last part. That's the part. Fear. I don't know what accent that is. Anyways, I'm dropping the accent. My biggest fear was that she was going to be sick on the plane or be up for 7 hours or both, and she ended up doing exactly that. The flight was 40% full. The reason I upgraded was because it was next to nothing. And then, she basically puked in like 4 different pods. It was an absolute nightmare. And then she was sick on the way to London. It was awful. But you know what? I got to say, the minute we got there, it was totally worth it. This is kind of an overshare. She worked on this sign for, God, I don't even know how long, 2 months. Okay, let's take a look at the video. Show them the sign.
Natalie. Oh, hey, how are you doing? That is the most beautiful sign I've ever seen. Wow. I'm so happy.
The sniffles that I had there, that I didn't have a cold, I was getting a little bit emotional. Emotional. How emotional? Let's get that photo of me shugging Harlot. Oh my God. Hugging Charlotte. Okay? What's wrong with my face? I literally look like someone hit me with an anvil. That's emotion right there. But I was fine after that, honestly, until I cried for like the next hour. But after that, I was okay. Until I cried for yet another hour. Anyways, neither Maya or I slept, so I went to sleep, and eventually she came into bed. Here's a picture of that. It's the cutest thing in the world, daddy-daughter. We went out for dinner. How did Maya do at dinner? Here's a picture of that. Yeah, that reminds me of being 6 years old and skiing in BC. Anyways, that's all good. If you followed my Instagram, I've been doing a lot of stuff. Here's me and Maya in front of Big Pen. As you can tell, she's not impressed at all. What else? Kensington Palace. Put that on my Instagram. How about a couple of cute pictures of me and Maya? How about this one? Anyways, we are at a Deerhurst-style resort. It's called Centipox. Where I've been doing fake British accents, and everyone's looking at me like, who is this person? I'm also loud and obnoxious. So here's us making teddy bears. Yeah, I look like a mascot on that one. So anyways, guys, it's been awesome. You know what? The time difference is not bad. My team's looking after everything. We've done a few deals. I'm still emailing properties to clients. I know everyone's like, oh, you got to take the time off, but there's downtime, right? The kids are over there right now. Eventually they're going to waddle in. I just know it. But it's been awesome. It really has been. Okay, so what I wanted to do, as mentioned, was look at 5 areas of London and compare them to Toronto. Oh, I said Toronto. Toronto. I've been away too long. And who helped me with this? My brother and my sister-in-law. Although my brother and I banged it out last night, and then my sister-in-law emailed me like an essay, okay, of areas, and she's definitely the go-to for that. But I'm going to go with what my brother and I hammered out last night. And let's just zoom in on London here. I love how it says Big Ben as the center, okay? So we'll zoom in on London. London's massive, okay? And London proper, you can basically draw a box around this. Now, what my brother told me was if you were to drive out to, where is it here? Like out in here, he's like, that's basically Ajax. So once you get outside the M25, I believe, that's where it's like you're taking hours into work every day. So zoom in here a little bit, and all of these areas, right, south of the river apparently, and anybody who's from London or knows London, you're going to hate this because you're just going to want to critique everything I'm saying, but apparently south of the river was never as good, and then apparently the Wills and Kate are down and around here, Lewisham, or their kid goes to school there or something like that, I don't know. But the big money spots, guys, up here in Hampstead Heath, we're going to talk about that. Billionaires Row, which is the most expensive real estate in the city. We're not going to get into fantasy real estate. Most expensive real estate in the world. We're not going to get into fantasy real estate. We very well could if you want to see what does a $200 million property look like. But Hampstead Heath here is a very expensive pocket. As you go down in here, you've probably heard of Mayfair. That's like the Yorkville. But let's just get right into it because I know you're going to want to see this. So we're going to start by looking at a property that is a 1-bedroom. How do I get out of this? Here, what are we at here? Photos, back. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and it's listed for 700,000 quid. Now, bring up the calculator. That's going to be on my screen. Okay, 700,000. Guys, you got to bear with me here. I don't know my regular stuff. 700,000, okay, times 1.7. Okay, this is $1.2 million Canadian. $1.2 million Canadian for this. And what is it? It's 539 square feet. So again, okay, where was that? 1190, okay, divided by 539, $2,207 per square foot. Can we get that up on the screen, please? $2,207 per square foot. Now, where is this? That's kind of the funny part, okay? Because I'm going to tell a story here. I'm going to do it as well as I can. Where's the map? Let's go to the map here, okay? This is in Canary Wharf. Canary Wharf is CityPlace. So Canary Wharf is all new condos. And what my brother was telling me is that essentially Canary Wharf is where you go when you're a young banker and you want to be close to work, you want to be walking distance, and you want to have the nice things, and you want to go out to dinners. This is where you go. But after a couple years of being a junior banker or what have you, and then you meet a girl or a guy and you say, okay, you know, you want to get together? And then he or she says, I'm not living in Canary Wharf. And he said, or even worse, you've got a place in Canary Wharf, and then even worse, she's got a place. Oh no, now you have 2 places in Canary Wharf. You have 2 places in Canary Wharf. What are you going to do? So another funny anecdote is he said when you going on the business meetings, oh, do you want to come down to where you guys are? No, we're in Canary Wharf. We'll come to you. So Canary Wharf is CityPlace, and if you look at what the pictures are, like look at this. Oops. This is all condos. And some people are going to say like, oh, it's nice. Look, there's water. This is like, I don't know. It's like, how nice is this little channel situation happening here? Okay, so exit map, thank you. So we're going to go to the photos. Again, what does $2,207 a month get you? It gets you this. This is the kitchen. Okay, that's Canary Wharf. Okay, this looks like CityPlace, right? Photos are out of order. That's your kitchen. That looks like a kitchen in, I don't know, a hotel. But that's what London kitchens are like. And everything's smaller in London. And I've said this anecdotally. You can tell now people are awake in Toronto. It's 8:14 in the morning in Toronto. I've said this anecdotally. Everything in London's smaller, right? Like if you eat an apple, it's like, oh, we better order another apple. Like you can't go out and get 12 apples. There's nowhere to put them, right? Or I guess if you're a multimillionaire. But everything in London is smaller. So this is your kitchen. That's your fridge. You hope you have a dishwasher. It's also green, okay? Broaden them in the bedrooms. Ugh. Okay, this is $2,200 a square foot. Now everything's different here. Toilets are different. My daughter, oh, the poor thing, she's like, why is everything different in London? Like everything's different. Potato chips are different. Maybe she's just, like spoiled. Everything's different. Okay, so again, does this remind you of CityPlace? It's nothing but tall buildings. Now, here's the big difference. These buildings have stellar amenities. You would not get this in CityPlace. You would not get this in CityPlace. Okay, great gym. Or maybe you would, it's different. It's British. I don't know. Does this look like CityPlace to you? It's $2,200 a square foot. So the crazy thing is, as much as Toronto real estate has appreciated over the years, CityPlace is probably averaging, what, $1,000 a square right now? And I know you're going to say maybe that's low, but because there's been some crazy sales. But on the whole, right, you're talking $1,000 a square. This is $2,200 a square. Now, I didn't just, pick this because it's the most expensive. Ooh, gallery. I picked this because it just happened to be one of the properties that was not a new build where things were $2,800 a square. Seriously, twice as much to live in Canary Wharf as it is to live in CityPlace. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. This, guys, Morwell Street, Bloomsbury, London. What are we comparing this to? Well, let's go to our map. Oh, I should have prepared better for this. There we go. This is on Rightmove. Yeah, rightmove.co.uk. So let's zoom out here. The people from London, you're hating me right now. My new clients just bought in the beaches. Hey guys, they're hating this because they're like, oh my God, what is David doing? Also, what's on his face? My daughter didn't want me to shave. I'll do whatever she wants. So where are we here? You see Notting Hill. You're familiar with that. There's a movie. Here's Kensington. Here's Mayfair, Soho, Covent Garden, City of London. I'm just reading things off the map. Fitzrovia. Yeah. This is King West. And the Londoners are being like, no, it's not. I should read you the messages from my sister-in-law. This is King West right here. So what does it cost to live in King West? €800,000. And we're going to go back to the map. And we're going to look at the floor plan. Okay? 638 square feet. So let's get out calc. Okay, 800,000 times 1.7 equals, divided by 638, $2,132 to live in King West in London. Okay, now what does this look like? Compared to the last one, I mean, maybe the photos just aren't good. I don't know if they stage here. They probably don't. And look at the rads. Everything's different in London, right? Right, that's your kitchen. Everything's so small in London. Wow. Crazy, right? Okay. Got a wall-mounted TV. It's not bad. Really big on broadloom here, right? Okay. 2 monitors, or is that a mirror? Nope, we're working from home. Whoa, what's happening over here? Another monitor. So this is a 638 square foot place. It's in King West, the equivalent of, right? But look at it. It's beautiful, right? And that's, I think, the difference. So the Canary Wharf, massive tower, right? Massive tower. And I don't know, maybe you want to live overlooking the water. Maybe you want to live walking distance to work. I think the people that really want to live in London, and I'm just basing this on complete typecasting. Oh, of course I asked our waitress, have you seen Peaky Blinders? She was the nicest girl in the world. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I actually feel bad that you've seen that. But all of the stereotypes, and I'll get into that later because I can't keep my mouth shut, but this is a beautiful brick building. Look at the little Juliet balconies. I think there are a lot of people in Toronto right now that are just fawning over this. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this is a flat, okay? This is 3 units, 4 units, what have you. They're flats. Condos, apartments, it's complicated. Don't even get into the concept of a chain, right? When you're buying conditional and sell your property, and that's going to be conditional and sell somebody else's, and then you've got gazumping, you can get out of it, right? But this is $2,200 a foot. And the reason why it's actually cheaper than Canary Wharf is probably because you don't have those amenities. Now, the maintenance fees I won't even get into. They are wild. Now, $5.50 per square foot per annum. That was what one of these was. Let's get out calc again, okay? 638 times 5.5 equals 3,509 divided by 12. Okay, it's $292 a month. That's not bad, but you pay it on a yearly basis in some of these buildings, which is wild. So again, absolutely beautiful. I'll go back to the floor plan, right? Reception, that's what they call. I asked Neil, he's like, that's what they call a living room, right? Okay, bedroom's not huge. Kitchen is totally enclosed. They don't have open concept here. It's fascinating to me, right? We're all about open concept, and here they are completely closed, right? So there you go. So let's move on here. We want to look at some houses. Okay, where's this one? Now, first I'm going to go to the map because that's what I do in my pick 5. I'm going to go down here, and here's where you guys who live in London, sorry, I got to get my notes on a David and Chris notepad. Okay, this is Battersea. Battersea. So where's Battersea? Let's zoom out. we're south of the river. And as I was saying, people are like, oh, south of the river. But this is Chelsea. This is where the Beckhams live, right? So you're just south of the river, Battersea Park. And again, my brother said it's all about parks in London. No one has a backyard, right? You have a garden, right? That's what they say. Oh, it's a semi with a garden. And you don't have backyards because land in London is so scarce. So Battersea, my brother says, is Leslieville 5 years ago. So Leslieville 5 years ago. So let's see, what is Leslieville 5 years ago? Well, it's 2.15 million quid. 2.15 million quid. 150, okay, times 1.7. 3 million, can we get this up on the screen, please? $3,655,000 to live in London's Leslieville. Now, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, well, hang on a second. It's a semi and it's beautiful and it's big. What I've noticed about London is they call this a 5-bedroom. Any room is a bedroom there, right? Like certain houses, it's like a bedroom, but that's where you watch TV, but they're counting as a bedroom. They're all very, very, it's horizontal living, right? So there are levels and levels and levels. And my brother's place is like you'll walk up like 4 steps. It's kind of like split level in some areas. And then they completely renovated their place. So they changed the whole layout, right? But this is very pretty. This is very charming. Like, who knows how old these crown moldings are. Photos are not in the best order. But again, right? Real dining area. Got a skylight, right? Backyard. Where's the garden? I mean, that's an awesome stove. There's the garden. So this in London is, right? That is massive. I mean, in Toronto, this is pretty big for some people, right? But that's way bigger than what you expect to get in a garden in London. And the trees and the foliage and everything is just amazing. So this is a family room, right? Big bedrooms. I can't tell you how amazing this house is. And from what little I know about London real estate, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Now, again, it's only 3.6 million. It's only 3.6 million. And why? Well, because, it's in Battersea, right? Now, if you pick this up and put it in a better area, 3.6 million Canadian dollars to live in that little house. But it's London, right? And what's that house in Leslieville? 1.8, right? It seems like, we're multiplying, like it's double. It's frickin' double. Okay, the next one I want to show you, this is in Belsize Park. So where is Belsize Park? And we had a bit of disagreement about this. My brother said, oh, it's like Davisville Village. And then Lindsay said, well, I don't know if it's Davisville Village, right? This is Belsize Park, okay, and up in here. And then this is the park, Hampstead Heath. And again, mixed bathing pond. I'll have to put that on the to-do list. So again, my brother said it's all about proximity to the parks because no one has a backyard. And so where we were, where did we enter the park? Where in the world did we enter the park? I think we go in off here, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it, I don't know, to be honest. It could be over here, it could be over here. Anyways, every night when I was putting Maya to bed for the last 2 months, she'd go, London, Daddy, London. And so then I would go on my phone and I would go to Google Maps and then she would go like this through Hampstead Heath. And she knew it off by heart. This is the playground where I want to play with my cousins. This is the coffee truck where Daddy's going to complain about the coffee. Don't even get me started about the coffee. Okay, let me tell you a story. Okay, let me tell you a story. Ready for this? I hope you've made it this far. So Brits don't seem to have a sense of humor. We went out for breakfast the first day we were here, and I said to the waitress, excuse me, hi, I'm from Canada, and I like really bad coffee. And she goes, well, we don't have bad coffee here. Right? And I said, we have this thing called Tim Hortons. It's terrible. Can you make me something like that? So I said, can I just get a regular, they call it drip coffee, right? Because everything here is fancy. You get an Americano, which is essentially, espresso with hot water in it mixed together. It's weird. And I said, do you have cream? And she goes, no. Cream to them here is whipping cream. So she thought I asked for a coffee with whipped cream. So then Lindsay says, he means pouring cream. And she goes, pouring cream, right? Pouring cream, like cream, which you get at Tim Hortons. So then I said, I want a large. And she's like, we don't have a large. And I said, at home, I get a Tim Hortons. It's like this big. So they brought me a bowl of coffee. And all of the staff were watching. The guys, the blokes, they're like, what's going on here? Right? So I have a video of this. Now, let's edit the sound out because me and Neil are talking about hockey. Here's me drinking a bowl of coffee. Yeah, and like totally nonchalant, right? But they brought it to me. It was a bowl of coffee, and it had this little spoon. So I was like, when in London. So I started going, and everyone was laughing at me. My nieces, my daughter, everyone, just a running joke. And the blokes, at the open concept, cooktop, they thought it was hilarious. So it was good coffee. They thought that I was American, of course. I was wearing a G.I. Joe t-shirt. There's an American flag. Anyway, so that's coffee, right? So yes, I was saying that Maya and I take the whole tour. We go through the Hampstead Heath. She knows it off by heart. Thank you, Google Maps. So let's take a look at this house, guys. This is 2.1 million quid. Okay, 2.1 is times 1.7. So this thing's $3.57 million. $3.57 million. Now you might be like, oh, actually, David, that's not terrible, right? $3.57 million. That's the backyard, but it's smack dab against a wall, okay? And then on the inside, this thing needs work. So 3.57 million, nice footprint, but very messy and unrenovated, right? Actually, that's not terrible. I love the home phone. Hello. Yeah, I mean, needs work, right? It's not bad. 3.57 million. So this is Davisville Village, so 3.57 million. And what would this cost? 3-bed, semi, right? You're 1.7. Right? So again, 1.8 maybe, you're double. So it seems like London is only double because back in the day, it was quadruple. It was triple, right? And there it is behind this tree. It's an awkward shot to take. The Brits, man, honestly. So yeah, I mean, it's where did I see 5-bedroom? It's another, 4, they call this a 4-bedroom, but it's like one of them is where you watch TV. Otherwise, you're watching TV in your kitchen. So again, like I think that Toronto has been playing catch up for so long. We've had a 20-year bull run. Basically now you say like London's only twice as expensive, and the people from London will be like, yeah, but it's London. You're Toronto. You're like the armpit of North America. Actually, that's Buffalo. No, I shouldn't say that. Toronto's Buffalo North. That's what one of my clients said once. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I mean, we're only double, right? And that is despite the fact that we've had a 20-year bull run. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Real estate in Toronto has been undervalued for far too long. The people think it's too expensive. Guess what? We've just played catch up. So there you go. Belsize Park. Go back to the map just to say that we did. Not familiar here with rightmove.co.uk. Okay. Delightful end of terrace, 3-story Victorian house. Sole use a pretty paved rear garden. Now check this out. No ongoing chain. No ongoing chain, right? And that is meaning that right now, this thing's free and clear, yo. You want to come in and buy this? No problem. It's not like there's a long chain of people that are all conditional. And then one person pulls out and the entire chain gets screwed up. It's just absolutely crazy. Okay, so let's move on, guys. Am I going too fast? Am I not telling enough stories about London? I don't even know if this is going to upload. Okay, let's go to the last one. So you can tell where this is going, right? Heath Drive, Hampstead, London. Okay, let's go, right? This is, wait for it, this is Rosedale. This is Rosedale, and some people are going to say, no, it's not, but I've heard this from different people here, and I have it on authority that this is Rosedale. This is north of Belsize Park. There's some beautiful houses here, and I'm not going to bring up Billionaires Row. Billionaires Row is literally where the billionaires are, and they are in houses that are $50, $70 million. We can do that if you want. I'll go back to that after. But this is a house for 11.5 million euro, right? How much is that? $19.55 million, okay? $19 million. Now you're going to say, well, yeah, duh, look at it. And you're in London. But again, what would this cost in Rosedale? This thing's beautiful, right? It's awesome. $19 million Canadian. Now, there are houses in Rosedale that are $19 million. But I honestly think that if you put this thing on Binscarth or Whitney or Edgar, it's 7 million, right? And that's what's so funny is that when I say it's only double, the more that you move up, there's only 9 photos, the more that you move up the ladder, the bigger the difference. Right now, this is 19, say 7 million. Okay, it's almost 3 times as expensive in London. The expensive real estate is far more expensive relative to Toronto. But again, you go to a CityPlace versus Canary Wharf, how do you triple that? Right? It's because Toronto prices have increased so much. So, I mean, it's a beautiful house, right? Let's see what they have to say about it. Oh, I'm not down with Rightmove. Okay? An imposing detached house and the subject of a comprehensive program of refurbishment. Comprehensive program of refurbishment. Renovation. Brits are wordy, I guess, or they just are better spoken. What was that guy's name? Shakespeare? Something or other? Yeah. I love. My brother's been telling me all about like Brit culture. He's like he goes. He works with Americans and Brits, right? He goes, I'm gonna butcher it. When they're in a business meeting, and he says, when the Brits don't like something, they'll say, right, that's good then, which it's not. It's bad. And he goes, the Americans will go, well, we don't like that, and that's the difference. So read this. These particulars are issued for guidance only. They are intended to give a fair overall description of the property. Like, that's the nice British way of basically giving a disclaimer, right? That's the fine print. So it's just funny. I've been hearing all about the differences between Canadians and Brits. He was telling me that, if you're on hold for like 40 minutes with Rogers and, they pick up and you go, I've been on hold for 40 minutes. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry, sir. We here at Rogers strive, and they'll read the pre-printed. He goes, here, you say, I've been on hold for 40 minutes. And they go, yeah. Right? It's just, what was the other thing? He said they're very by the book. Everything's by the book. So we pull into Center Parks, right? My brother's like, hey, yeah, we got this reservation. The guy said, right, check-in's not till 4. My brother's like, yes, but we paid extra. There's the 3 o'clock check-in. And the guy's like, right, I'm going to have to see. And it's like, team meeting, crazy, like just heads blowing up. So finally talks him into it. The guy's like, well, it is 2:45. Yeah, so we'll just head over then. He's like, do you want to maybe check out the grounds? And it's like they can't wrap their head around the fact that the guidebook of life says 3 o'clock and we're going at 2:45. I'm in the back. I'm like, hey, tell this guy we're just going to stare at the house for 15 minutes. That's Londoners, right? And that's my brother talking. I don't know. But he says it's just they're so by the book with everything. And our internet's down and it's not working. And he's on the phone trying to convince them. And he's talking to them. He's like, let's say you were vacationing here with your family. What would you do? He said, well, I would call me, right? And what would you like to see you do about it? And I was like, this poor girl on the phone, right? They're just so proper. I don't want to say they don't have like problem solving, but it's just like, I think they're just so much more laid back. Or maybe we're just loud and mouthy and we want. I don't know. He would explain it better, but they're in there doing, I don't know, 9th hour of bracelet making or whatever. It's been pretty cute. Here's another couple photos. Let's throw up a couple photos of Maya and her cousins just to say we did. We're having a hell of a time here. It's been awesome. So I want to do this, guys. I'm just going to go back to the homepage, okay, for Rightmove, and we're going to go and we're going to map, okay, London. Okay, so now I got it up and running. Check this out. Can we see this? 48,637 properties. That's how many properties are for sale in London. 48,637. Now, the TREB numbers came out yesterday, and number of active listings at the end of the month was about 10,000. So that's at the end of the month. But I think that's a fair measure of how many are for sale. Of course, new listings are higher, but they get absorbed quicker. Now, if there are 10,000 properties available for sale in Toronto and 50,000 available for sale in London, how much bigger is their population? It's not 5 times as much. And that's where Toronto is still unique because there is so little supply. So let me just do this. I want to zoom in on Canary Wharf. Look how much is for sale in Canary Wharf. 753 properties. And I don't have a map tool, but if we were to cut around Canary Wharf, right? Let's say there's 500. Let's zoom in a little bit more, okay? 135. That doesn't make sense. Zoom out again. I'm getting the properties from elsewhere. Fine, but let's say for argument's sake there are 135 properties. Imagine in CityPlace there's 135 properties for sale. There's not. Look in CityPlace right now, okay? 786. So again, I'm going to expect that there's 300. It's just crazy to me how much is for sale at any given time. So let's go to, where's Notting Hill? Okay, Notting Hill. Not a lot for sale in Notting Hill, right? But look around Knightsbridge, Kensington, right? Mayfair. Now that's where the really expensive stuff is, right? You want to play fantasy real estate? I said we wouldn't do that. But let's just say for argument's sake, minimum 20 million, okay? Yep, 46 million times 1.7, okay? Oh, this one they won't even tell you how much it is. 54 million. 54 million. So let's zoom out. Everything above 20 million. How many properties are for sale above 20 million? Where's my counter? 140. 140 properties. 20 million is 34 million Canadian. $34 million Canadian. Is that nuts? But if we zoom out even more, well, there's only a couple up here, right? POA. They're not going to tell you how much that bad boy is. So anyways, guys, this has been a serious trip. And by that I mean it's trippy. Like just looking at the price of real estate in London, it makes my head spin. So dare I say, you know, Toronto, not so bad by comparison. And I don't want to get into a thing here, but, you know, Matthew Morrison on my team who wrote the Wednesday blog, he coined an interesting phrase. He said Toronto, you know, as a city, it's a first generation world-class city. What that means is that London's always been a world-class city. And those of you that might say Toronto's not a world-class city, fair point. But, you know, it kind of is. It kind of is on the map. Not just based on the culture, the desirability, the livability, the world rankings, but sports, arts, entertainment, food, the amount of people that come here for tourism, that I mentioned, the most multicultural city in the world. So this is only the first generation, though, where it's been on the map. Because our parents had no problem buying houses, right? Despite 21% interest rates. Our parents, again, everyone owned. But now we're seeing this generation have trouble. To come to London and say, I want to buy a house, people would laugh at you. And I wrote this in my e-newsletter last month. My brother said one of his colleagues is 46 years old and just purchased his first home. 46. That means he's been out of university for 25 years. 25 years of working. Wife, kids, right? Renting. I'm a young man. I'm going to work. Then I'm going to get a lady friend. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have a kid, a second and a third. I'm going to have life and I'm going to have activities. I'm going to do whatever. And when I'm 46 years old, that's when I bought my first house. In Toronto, a couple of 26-year-olds believe they deserve to buy a house. And then they'll go to the media and they'll be profiled in the Toronto Star looking sad. Entitlement. Okay? And I know I own a house, right? So for me to say, but I'm 41 years old. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again, even though people are going to hate on me for this, is that the amount of entitlement that exists in our city, and I believe it's from the top down, the government says you can have whatever you want, fine. But I don't understand why young people are complaining about the price of real estate when if you were to compare Toronto to London or Paris, New York or Tokyo or Lisbon or anywhere else around the world, no one does that. No one does that. So while there are some 26-year-olds that can't afford a semi-detached house in Leaside or Leslieville or Davisville, the equivalent of, you know, Fitzbravia or whatever, or Soho or Belsize Park or Battersea or whatever it is, it's just a wake-up call by looking at London to see this is what things cost in other areas. It's not so bad in Toronto. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end it there because my family has been very nice. They're sitting in the other room waiting for us to go to the pool. Highly distracted. This is itchy as hell. I want to shave it. I'm like total dad mode right now. And then when I showed our waitress last night my Instagram that said Buckingham Palace, unfortunately the Queen rejected my request for tea or whatever I said. She was like, oh, I mean, it's funny. It's like a dad joke. I got to step up my game. Anyways, guys, I'll be back in Toronto next week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.